what role do you think AI will play in shaping the future of project management approaches?
AI will enable more time for project management to spend time in art part because it can help with analyzing a lot of data. If you want to implement any AI tool strategy, you need to be able to adapt because AI will change all the time and it will change how we are doing things all the time. So before you start integrating new tools, make sure that you can adopt really fast. AI at the end can refine processes before we implement them in real life. We will give to AI things which are not connected with relationship building, so we will have more time to do that. And I think if we use AI properly, then we will be able to be more performant. If we're trying to use AI in the wrong ways, that's a different story, a different topic.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Life and IT Project Management, where we take you on journeys connecting life and IT project management, filling the gap with practical, relatable content tailored for everyone from aspiring PMs to seasoned professionals. I'm your ever-learning host, Justice O'Neill. Today, we have a wonderful, seasoned project management expert who thrives on transforming teams from good to great, with over a decade of experience navigating various frameworks, methodologies, and knowledge areas. Stefan has developed a unique people-centered approach called SILAN, which translates to powerful in his native language. SILAN does embody 5 key principles: simplicity, intelligence, laziness, agility, nurturing. He will deep dive into that. Stefan's approach has been tested, proven, and implemented in his training and coaching sessions, delivering exceptional results for individuals and teams alike. Welcome, Stefan Stojkovic. Fantastic. All right, so let's deep dive into the few questions we have. I'll begin with what I mentioned earlier, SILAN approach. So let's dive into the SILAN approach you developed. Now, out there, a lot of aspiring PMs will be thinking, there's PMP, there's Spring Suite, there's ITIL, there's this, there's that. What again is the SILAN approach? And how do you apply this methodology across both Agile and traditional project environments?
Yeah, first of all, thank you. It's great to be here. Thank you for this invitation. Regarding the SILAN approach, it doesn't matter. It's at the end, the point is that after, as you said, a decade of jungling with different frameworks and systems, knowledge areas, I actually adopted this approach because I felt that we are focused a lot on the processes and on tools and not that much on people. So this I developed for me personally at first place to be a kind of reminder for me that I need to take care also about this stuff, and those stuff are more important sometimes because this approach is designed to be people-centered. First part of the SILAN is actually simple. It means that we need to strive to simplify wherever is possible and use solutions because they're good and give good outcomes, most importantly, and not just because they're trendy, because there are a lot of trends going on. This is interesting, this is good, but I think we should not just go there and pick something from the market because it's trend, but we always need to assess, is this we are trying to use have some, let's say, good outcomes and values that we can use from it or not, And that's why it's really important for me, because in already complex world, the last thing we need complicated tools and methods, So I really going with approach to simplify as much as possible and where is possible. The second part, intelligent. Actually, we are saying here that we should use our minds, talents, and energy on things which are valuable for us and don't waste them on things which are not in alignment with our personal principles, but also when we convert that to the team principles and values, And I personally developed one trigger for me when I'm starting to waste time, let's say on something not valuable, to ask myself, is this beneficial for me or my team or maybe my family? If not, I just stop doing it, And this is how actually I stopped to waste a lot of time scrolling on social media, as example. Yeah, it was approach which really helped me. Like, I think the easiest to understand why this is important, but to develop this trigger is the hardest part. Yeah. Then we come to the lazy, and this is, I would say, most controversial part, because people are usually asking me why do we need to be lazy. It's not a good thing, but it actually means be involved when and where is really needed, and automate wherever is possible or makes sense. And actually, this is inspired from the book called The Lazy Project Manager by Peter Taylor. And here the point is not to be lazy, but to think what would lazy person do to make something easier for him. Yeah. We sometimes could just avoid something, sometimes we delegate, sometimes maybe automate, but we're also on the way thinking about if that what is our decision will not maybe hurt or do something to other person. So that's important part. And the agile part is actually be adaptive but plan, and be fast but ask for a feedback. And here I'm not speaking about any agile framework. It's actually agile mindset. Yeah, it's not connected to the agile framework at all. And at the end, nurturing, really important part. It was actually later added to the SILAN, and I was feeling something is missing. And actually, this protect, care, and provide opportunities for the people to share their thoughts and concerns in the safe and supportive environment, I call nurturing. And it's really important for me. All in all, this approach helped me to achieve great things in my life and work, and to advance in my career. So I actually tested it on the other people and teams. And even it was designed for me, it helped a lot of teams, and the results were really good. So now I'm using this approach in all my trainings, coaching sessions, and so on. So that's mostly about the SILAN.
Awesome. So it's sounding more like a mindset that is agnostic to specific process or a specific tool or a specific methodology, basically.
Exactly. So when you apply SILAN, you can apply it to any, let's say, environment, because it's not connected. All those things what I mentioned, they are common sense, and they are not designed for a specific framework, let's say. We can apply SILAN in agile setting, in a traditional project management setting, in any environment, because it's actually just talking about what we should take into consideration while we are doing something, delivering project, implementing change, or whatever.
Right, right. Awesome. Thank you for the quick deep dive navigating through the individual elements of that framework. Now, you've spoken highly of P3.Express as a practical project management method. Moving on from SILAN, could you share some real world examples where P3.Express excels, and where do you see its future evolution?
P3 Express actually is my favorite project management system right now, because of its simplicity and practicality, and it's minimalistic, but again, it provides structure when you need it. So I've used P3 Express in a lot of projects. Now I'm in software development, but also in automotive before. And for me, it was really good aligning teams. And when there are teams which are doing different things for different projects, it can be really good to map out this simultaneous work of different teams. It's actually, we had one project 2 years ago where I implemented this first time in, let's say, combination of hardware and software development. Project was actually digitalizing hardware equipment so it can be controlled remotely. Yeah. So we needed to bridge this gap between hardware and software teams, yeah, and align business objectives and ensure where actually we are delivering value incrementally. So P3 Express actually helped me to have a good structure of the project, especially with its monthly cycles. So when you're initiating every month a cycle, it was really good alignment point with those two teams, keeping in mind the business needs. So we had some business stakeholders coming with us, sharing their needs, and then we could together sit and assess actually the situation and what could be our next step and what we want to produce in this next month. So this was really, really good practice for us. And I found similarity between P3 Express and SILAN. So you have monthly cycle, end of the month cycle, then you have daily cycle. So it's actually developed also to remind you what is the minimum things you need to do so you can actually deliver and be efficient. So it actually creates this rhythm of continual process where we can address and see what was accomplished and what our next steps could be. So actually, I am now first time thinking about it, and I think there is some similarity, and there is no. It's clear why I like P3 Express that much. Yeah.
Awesome. So when we say P3 historically as project managers, when we say P3, we're talking about project, program, and portfolio. Most of the time. Now for aspiring PMs, P3 also it helps in a scenario, and you will encounter this. It will help in a scenario where when you get in, you find that a project is not self-contained. It ties or rolls up into a program or rolls up into a portfolio, and different stakeholders need different things. Just like the use case that Stefan gave, hardware projects, software projects on one side, and so many things in between. A typical agile approach will not fly. A typical primary waterfall approach will not. So you have to be able to have the full view in scope. And same thing, scaled agile framework might not work because there are some components that are known. So you just want to go by waterfall, you want to go by agile and all that. But in all this, three focuses on being minimalistic in your approach, right? So
Exactly.
that's the goal.
Yeah. In the moment I started with P3, there was no P5. Now also there is P5 Express, which actually is focusing on the portfolio part. Yeah. So it's something that if I had that 2 years ago, it would be much easier for me.
Yeah.
But I would say that in this particular case, software development team work with agile practices and hardware development team work with traditional way of delivering things. Yeah. Waterfallish. Yeah. Let's say. And for me, it was really hard to keep up and try to align them because they have different ways of doing things. Of course, after some time, hardware development team even became more agile because on these iterations and these, let's say, monthly cycles, they could present their parts, they can show some simulations and so on. So we were with that team working more and more on things which will actually help us to see the progress much quicker. So we did a lot of new simulations and things like that to feel how actually finalized part will look and how it will work. So we adopted some agile practices as well in the hardware team later on, but I cannot say that it was fully agile for sure. Sometimes it's not possible. You cannot, as example, build a house doing agile. Yeah, you cannot build just pieces and bits and first small house, then bigger house, and then much bigger house. Yeah, it's not possible, but you can involve some practices that could help you to have much faster feedback and to understand what actually customer wants. And in this case, customer was part of the team. So we have a couple of team members from customer in our hardware team. So it was like really, really project where you had to keep on track stuff, satisfy customer needs, but also you had to map out and understand how to bring these two teams together. Yeah.
Awesome. Now for the audience, there is a somewhat agile approach to coming up with the topic for this podcast, but tentatively you would find out we've touched on SILAN, we've mentioned agile, we've mentioned traditional waterfall. We're talking about P3.express right now. The focus is how you can future proof your project management approaches. How you can future proof. Are you flexible enough to future proof your project management approaches, and you're not stuck in one monolithic method or the other, or framework or the others? Continue to enjoy the journey with us. I will be going to the next question. Now, you're a strong advocate for management three practices, which is largely software development. And so, how do these practices help improve team performance, especially in a globally distributed cross-country team?
Yeah. So management 3.0 practices are all about empowering people. And you feel also now connection with SILAN because it's people-centered, yeah? And I'm really believing in these approaches deeply. The focus is on decentralization of decision making and enable teams to make their ownership of their own work. Yeah. What actually you need to do, and especially in globally distributed teams, you need to invest much more time in bonding activities and that people understand each other, because building a trust, it's a crucial part for successful teams. Yeah. So one of the things I'm actually doing with teams is to understand and try to figure it out different things. And management 3.0 practices actually help me here. One of the things I'm usually doing is called moving motivators, where we explore what truly drives each team member. And it's amazing how often we uncover hidden blockers to performance, because we see that some people are motivated by something and others by something other. And if you force and just motivate one part of the team and not another, then you have a problem. And here I usually developing approach. I'm not thinking too much about motivation, but I'm thinking about the demotivating factors. First, let's understand, because demotivation is usually same. So if you do not have flexible working hours, most of the people will be demotivated for that. So it's kind of the same. Yeah. If you do not have good equipment, most of the people without having good equipment will, let's say, be demotivated. So I'm actually trying to understand what are demotivating factors, trying to reduce them as much as possible. And after you resolve that part, then we can talk about motivators and what motivates each individual. Yeah. And it's good. Sometimes you understand that some individuals are motivated by good and clear structures. Next time you're doing some change management initiative, you will give to that person some structural work. So try to figure it out something with our team members about how we can prepare for this change, who we need to involve, and so on. So finding out someone's motivation helps you to understand what you can give to them and what they can work on. And this is really, really good practice. Another, it's called delegation poker, which I use to align responsibility levels between managers and their teams. It's a great tool actually helping leaders to more trust their team members and to set up for maybe some change of the role in the future. Because with this practice, team is actually reflecting how and where they want to be involved for decision making, and also managers are doing that. So they're kind of playing poker and putting the card, which is delegation level from 1 to 7. And if an example manager says, for this change, I just want to tell you this kind of decision, I just want to tell you, and you will do like that. But team says, no, we want to be consulted. Then this triggers some good discussion. Why manager thinks he would just need to tell them, and why team thinks they need to be involved. So it's actually a good tool to trigger good discussion. And sometimes you cannot agree, and that's okay. But we agree that we do this exercise once again in 1 month or 2, because in most cases, manager, especially if it's some senior, let's say, developer who became a manager, he do not want to give decision power to the team because he feels that they are not competent enough. So then we make a plan and say, okay, what team needs to learn and be capable of so they can in the future take this decision. And then this help us to even work on some, let's say, individual development plans for the people. And then when we assess the situation after some time and we see now people develop these skills and now they can take these decisions, we say, okay, now we agree. So it's really good tool to do that. And why this is important globally, because you cannot all the time have time to discuss and be one-on-one. So sometimes these workshops will help you to use less time and learn much more. One other exercise now came to my mind is personal maps, which is actually I'm doing at the beginning of the projects, where especially when it's globally distributed team, we sit together and they're doing their mind maps. Do they have pets? What are their favorite movies and things like that? So they map that out. And other team members, they're seeing their map and trying to connect if they have similarities. And then they discuss about similarities, and then maybe in some situations we have that people are playing same game online, and then they join each other's group, and then they continue to build let's say this trust and cooperation even after the working hours. We had two people love hiking, so first time one person joins our meetup when we were all together, they organize a hiking. So it's kind of powerful to see what people like, and then they're building trust by just spending time even outside of their work together, which is really good thing to do. And a part of that for the global team, really important for me, was collaboration cards. This is another management 3.0 practice. Actually, it's a tool to understand how each person prefer to work. Yeah, and these cards allow us to explore questions like how we give and receive feedback, how we deal with conflicts, how we communicate, when during the day it's good for us to have meetings, what we prefer for the communication channel. Is that a call? Is that a WhatsApp message or Slack or things like that? So once we understand that, probably the next exercise would be to understand now, knowing all of this, let's agree how it will work and exchange informations and so on. Combining these practices, and there are a lot of them, I think more than 30 practices, you can, depending on situations, see what is a good fit for you in that moment. And sometimes I actually allow team to decide what they want to do. And they say, okay, it makes sense that we do this exercise, and we just let them that they do it, and let's say ownership increase a lot.
Thank you for deep diving into a couple of those practices. It will, for the benefit of aspiring PMs or even experienced PMs, it is important that you know that these are not to be crammed. These are not to be concerned about everything all the time. No, this is for awareness. Project management has the science to it. It also has the art to it. So a lot of management 3 practices speak to cover the art aspect of it, because you want to be able to, and they tie into the science, because as people collaborate, as people engage, as you get the feedback and you delegate and you do all that, you get to see the results, because the results can be measurable.
Yeah.
So that's the idea. But it will benefit you to dive into what the management 3 practices cover. And this leads me to the next question. And we did speak about a global distributed team and how management 3 practices help them. Now, having worked across various global cultures, what are the key lessons you've learned about managing teams and projects in diverse environments?
Yeah.
Fun stuff.
I think the question is a part of the answer. So global project management definitely requires understanding that culture plays a significant role, how people communicate, collaborate, and make decisions. Yeah. One lessons I learned is actually that flexibility in communication is crucial. That's one part, because you can't assume one style will work across the board, communication style in this case. For example, direct communication might be appreciated in some cultures, while in others it could come off as aggressive. So I, again, of course, have some practice I do. So it's called culture mapping exercise, yeah? And it can help a lot in these cases. You sit together with team and discuss together and map out the key behaviors, values, and norm in the organization, and then compare them with your personal ones and the team ones, yeah? And then you understand, okay, this organization appreciates direct communication. So it's not that people are trying to be aggressive, but actually it's something that this organization values. Okay, and then we discuss about that, and then people understand that it's nothing insulting or nothing, but this is for the benefit of organization. And this is really good because it allows us to, let's say, identify both enablers and blockers for maybe some change which is in progress or project or people, just to understand each other better. Yeah. So this is really important. I think flexibility in communication, that's understanding different styles. Another one would be importance of building relationships. We already started to discuss about it when I said trust and so on, but focusing on before we focus actually on processes and results, in some cultures, this trust must be established before team will fully engage. Yeah. And this requires some time and personal connection. I already gave some examples how you can do it with management practices, but I think for the global projects it's important, really important, because you do not have much chances to see each other in the hallways. Yeah. And I think the team agreements also play here a crucial role, especially in global teams, because you should together sit and establish clear guidelines how you communicate, collaborate, and share informations. And this is something that also ensures alignment despite these cultural differences. Once this foundation of trust is there, I think the collaboration becomes much more smoother and ensures alignment. And for example, in one global project I had, we found that establishing these protocols for which communication channels to use. So we are just talking about the channels, because you had Slack, you had WhatsApp, you had some customer portal, you have this. So just talking about which communication channels we should use, how often to meet, and how we are making decision made significant reduction of confusion and really improved project flow. It's like you just need from time to time to sit and discuss. And I had one project, I think was Europe and Asia, I think. And we found some time during some, let's say, breaks, hangouts, to learn about cultural preferences together, yeah, and explore. And this is like team building activities, non-formal. We are sitting online, drinking coffee, and just one team is presenting what they prefer, how they work, and so on. And this is also good. And I think what you need to take care of also, it's time zones, of course, and working hours, because this can really impact how global teams operate. And a lot of things are done asynchronously. So one team is finishing something and we need always to agree what outcome of one team should be, so other team tomorrow morning when they wake up can see and continue working without having too many questions. Of course, some questions will be, but we agree like the acceptance criteria of each team, what they need to accomplish. So another team take over. And of course, if possible, you should find some overlap in schedules during the day where actually teams can meet and sit together. Maybe not each day, but sometimes we make compromises. One week we are, let's say, waking up early, 1 hour early, so we can meet, and then another week another team is staying 1 hour later, and we are doing something like that, because it's a key to also have some time together and to discuss online.
Spoken to you've spoken to basically collaboration, standard communication, collaboration leading to effective outcomes, basically expected benefits and outcomes. And that is definitely all those still tying to the act of the whole thing, project management, because if those are not resolved, if those are not handled or managed well, then the science will not be effective, right? Thank you so much. That leads me to the last question for now. With AI, of course, being the hot topic of the day, AI transforming industries, how do you see methodologies evolve in response to this shift? And what role do you think AI would play in shaping the future of project management approaches?
Yeah. So I think that the AI will actually enable even more time for project manager to spend time in art part, because it can really help with simplification and with, let's say, analyzing a lot of data and so on. So I think the point is that every project manager actually needs to be aware of that we need to develop a system or ways how we can adapt quickly. And this is something AI will not help. So we need to understand how we on the team or organizational level develop this possibility to, let's say, transform our organization or teams so they can produce the biggest value in that moment based on the what is available on the market. And actually for me, what was the transformational, what really helped me was the lean change management practices that I used a lot. And why I'm saying that it's connected with AI, because if you want to implement any AI tool, strategy, or whatever, you first need to be able to adapt, because AI will change all the time and it will change how we are doing things all the time. So before you start integrating new tools, make sure that you can adopt really fast. Yeah. Because AI at the end can help us simulate things like team dynamics. It can test hypotheses. It can refine processes before we implement them in real life. And probably most of us who teach AI and want to learn more about AI, they will see that AI is also thinking on agile way. Because if you implement and you try to do anything with AI, first you need to teach it to think agile, so to be fast in the feedback and to be able to adapt fast and so on, because that's the fastest learning curve, let's say. So I think that at the end, what is really important, that we do not lose this human element. It can handle a lot of tasks, can help us with analyzing a lot of data. As example, you can have situation that you have run some survey, you have results from, I don't know, thousands and thousands, I don't know, maybe stakeholders, maybe clients, and you want to analyze that fast. Okay, you give it to AI, it will do it. So you will not spend much time in analyzing that data. It will find you top 5 things to consider for improvement and so on. So it can help a lot. I actually used AI simulating how one team will behave once we put some change initiative. Yeah. So you can give to AI whatever you want. You can build a team, and each team member, you can define what is his personality. You can do personality tests and put in there what kind of personality it is. And then you say, okay, to send this message that we are changing, I don't know, from work from home to the office work, how you would communicate that message for each specific person. So you're now thinking about, okay, this person can be much faster stressed. So you need to have a funnel of introducing that message. And other people, they're straightforward, that they love to hear first the message and then they will so it can really help in communication strategies, because you cannot all the time think about different people, how they will react, and AI actually can help you to transform your messages to, let's say, person-friendly messages. Even it's AI, but at the end, it's just about the point that you need to consider this. And as I said, don't lose human element, and we will give to AI things which are not connected with the creativity, critical thinking, relationship building. So we will have more time to do that. And I think if we use AI properly, then we will be able to be even more performant. If we're trying to use AI on the wrong ways, of course, everything you can use for the good and for the bad, but that's a different story and different topic, yeah? Non-ethical thing, yeah?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Stefan. I really appreciate the fact that even in the few things that we have covered, so many even experienced IT experienced project managers and program managers will have so many things to learn, and they'll have so many things to go back to look at when it comes to gaps in knowledge, especially when leading projects in Europe versus North America versus elsewhere. You know, them being aware that, okay, they need to be aware of this the different approaches that might come. Say. So to wrap this up, I would like that you communicate to the audience how best they can reach you, and if you have any specific product or courses or services coming up very shortly.
Okay, first thing, the best way to find me is on LinkedIn. Yeah. So I think that's the easiest way. Also, you can find my website, futurist.coach. So you can find me there as well. And regarding some upcoming things, I'm launching P3 Express self-paced course with mentoring, let's say hours, which will start somewhere middle of November. So now it's like I already announced it. Pre-sale is ongoing, and from the, let's say, middle of November, we will start officially with course and sending lessons and mentoring hours and so on. Another thing I'm doing in this moment, it's lean change management workshops. It's called Lean Change Agent online workshop, US Europe friendly currently. Soon will be also some time zones for the rest of the world, but this workshop is starting on 18th of November, and it's ending on the 8th of November. So it's like 1.5 2 hours online sessions where we are actually exploring the practices, how to do changes properly, and to involve people in them, and to handle resistance. Yeah, that's the most important part for it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm sure that Stefan will send posts, and of course, I will also be tracking to repost so that folks can sign up. You will definitely benefit a lot from doing so, because regardless of whatever you've been told or you are being sold, project management approaches are also evolving. You need to be abreast of things. As a final note, if you have learned something from this video, please like, comment, share, but more importantly, we would like that you are able to subscribe to the Life and IT Project Management YouTube channel and click the bell notification button if you wish to continue to get great content connecting life and IT project management. Until our next show, remember, every man is the architect of his fortunes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.